Okay, let's just get right into it. Dandruff. We all know what it is. Those little white flakes. It's so common, so annoying. But what if I told you that behind this super common problem is actually a pretty fascinating scientific puzzle?
So get this, at some point in their lives, about half of all people on Earth will deal with dandruff. That's billions of us.
But here's where it gets really weird. The tiny microbe that actually causes dandruff, well, it lives on pretty much every single one of us. So if we all have it, why do only half of us get the flakes? That is the big question, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack. First things first, let's meet the main character in this story. It's a tiny guest that, believe it or not, has made a permanent home on our skin. Its name is Malassezia. Now, it's a type of yeast, but it's not some gross invader. It's a totally normal part of our skin's ecosystem. It moves in right after we're born and pretty much hangs out with us for life. So why our scalp? Well, Malassezia absolutely loves to set up shop in our hair follicles. And it makes perfect sense, because those follicles have these little glands that pump out an oil called sebum. Sebum is great for keeping our hair lubricated, but for this yeast, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. It makes our scalp one of the oiliest and therefore one of the yeastiest spots on our body. Okay, but how does this little yeast just having dinner cause such a huge mess? It's actually pretty simple. Malassezia is a really, really picky eater. You see, that sebum oil it loves so much isn't just one thing. It's made up of two totally different kinds of fats, or fatty acids. And this right here is the absolute key to the whole thing. Malassezia pumps out this enzyme to break down the oil, but it only eats the saturated fats, the ones with those nice, neat molecules. It completely ignores the unsaturated fats with their weird, irregular shapes. So those just get left behind on our scalp, kind of like leftovers after a meal. And it's those leftovers that kick off the entire problem. It isn't just the yeast, you see. It's how our own body flips out and launches a full-on defensive reaction against its trash. It all happens like a chain reaction. First, those leftover fats soak into your skin and basically pry open its protective barrier. Your body detects this problem and sounds the alarm, which triggers inflammation, and boom, that's what makes you itch. Then, to fix the damage, your body just puts the skin cell factory into overdrive. So on a normal scalp, your skin renews itself every couple of weeks, and the old cells just fall off one by one, totally invisibly. But with dandruff, those cells are getting churned out way, way too fast. They don't have time to mature right, so they end up sticking together in these big, greasy clumps. Which, yeah, that's the flakes we see. And that explains why the best treatments are antifungal shampoos, right? They go straight for the source. They knock back the Malassezia population, and that stops the whole chain reaction from even starting. But that brings us right back to the big mystery. If this yeast is on everybody, and we have shampoos that work, why do only some of us get dandruff in the first place? That's the part scientists are still trying to figure out. Well, one of the big theories is that it's in our genes. I mean, could it be that some of us just have a genetic switch that makes our bodies overreact to the yeast's leftovers? Or here's another idea. Maybe some people just naturally have a weaker or more leaky skin barrier. If that's the case, it would be way easier for those irritating fats to soak in and trigger that whole defensive meltdown. And now, researchers are looking at these really cool things called oxalipins. They're these tiny molecules that the yeast actually uses to talk to our immune system. If we can figure out how to block the oxalipins that are screaming inflammation and boost the ones that are whispering calm down, we could be looking at brand new kinds of treatments. But hold on, because here's the last and maybe the most fascinating twist. What if Malassezia isn't the villain we think it is? What if it's actually a friend? Just think about it for a second. Yeah, on one hand, it causes all the itching and the flakes and the hassle of dandruff. But on the other hand, some evidence suggests this yeast is a fierce defender of its home, which is our skin. It actually seems to help fight off other, more dangerous microbes, like the bacteria Staphylococcus aureus. Which leads us to this incredible question. Could dandruff just be an unlucky side effect of a partnership that's actually overall good for us? Are we basically putting up with flaky shoulders in exchange for a tiny bodyguard? So even though we know how dandruff happens, the real why me and not you part is still a bit of a mystery. It seems, for now anyway, this really common problem is still a total head-scratcher.